For years, people kept telling me that Witcher 3 was one of the greatest RPGs that was ever made, and I ignored it not because it looked bad, but it looked like overwhelming. It has a huge open world, thousands of quests, and complex combat, and it had already a well established story. I thought it would be another game that I'd play a few hours and would not have been more wrong. After spending like 96 hours, it comes back and collect your reward. But then The Witcher 3 almost never felt like that. Even the smallest contact can turn into a tragical mystery, like more moral dignity or an ending that never explains. Sometimes there was not even a right choice or a consequences, and that's what kept me playing. I still remember there was this quest where you had to save a small child, and the only child that was remaining after the village or something, and then that was like very deep. The side quest to hit like a smallest chapter in the story, and it did not have any meaning to the main story itself. It's just a small secondary side quest, but then that was like that felt most impact for me compared to even the main story itself, and then the world itself. uh, like there are there are Velen, which feels like completely broken, and Novigrad feels like alive, like people are bustling everywhere, and then Skellige feels like an adventure every time you sail between Iceland. But then the sailing aspect is really bad, like really awful if you do not want to like travel, if you do not want to use fast travel. But every location tells a story that needs long cutscenes, burning villages, abandoned homes, battlefields, monsters' nests, and the world feels like it exists long before Geralt even arrived there. Like the people were dwelling there, and the Geralt did not even come into the aspect of the world in the entirety it was as well. And speaking of Geralt itself, the main protagonist, he's probably one of my favorite protagonists now. He's not your typical hero. He is not the type to save the world because he destined to. He simply does his job, like making difficult decisions, protecting people he cares about, and surviving the world rather than rewarding kindness. The more I play, the more I pumps his personality, escape the dark humor. Like Geralt does not give a fuck about the world, what's going on. He only cares about he only cares about his loved ones and the reward which he collects after each witch hunt or the bounty, and he does not give a fuck about what the other people is thinking, and all those that. And the characters are another reason this game stands out, like Yennefer, Triss, Dandelion, Ciri, and many more. And every major character feels like a memory, not because they consider on the screen, but because they actually grow alongside the story. And even the game itself makes you decision involve them, like the choice matter, like when Dandelion saves Ciri and all those parts. I still remember those parts, like where all the decisions matter. And coming to the combat aspect, the combat is not perfect. It definitely takes time to use to, as and even till this date, 2026, I feel the combat is mostly good compared to other games. I see few people like criticizing on the combat compared to 2026, but then I feel for the year when it was released, and even till this day, the combat holds up very great. And yeah, it definitely takes some time to get used to. At first I really just led on fast travel and then fast attack, sorry, and then later I started using science more often, and then Gwen became my best friend. Actually I learned, and then when I learned when to dodge, when to parry, and then pretending like and then preparing potions actually mattered, like that was a huge difference while playing and all those things. That's not the deep combat system. It's the combat system is not very deep. The system itself is made, but once you understanding, the monster fighting becomes very satisfying and very easy. And then one more thing that I very love about is that the Gwent system. At first I thought it was basically a generic play of cards or something, and then once I played one match and another, and before you knew it, I ignore the main story and just collected a better card. Showing a card game inside another game became one of my favorite part. Like it is spectacle. The game itself is like another aspect of the game. We could have made an entirely different game for the Gwent itself, and that was I spent like hours and hours into the Gwent system itself. And one more aspect is the visual. It's amazing how well this game has aged, especially with the new gen update. The forest, the sunlight, the storms over Skellige, walking through Novigrad at nights. There were so many moments when I just like stopped and admired the Skellige view on the clouds and long distance. Just admire the scenery itself. And the soundtrack as well deserves much praise. Whether you are exploring peaceful villages or fighting terrifying monster, the music like always matches the mood very perfectly. They tweaked it in such a way that everything matches perfectly, and even the soundtracks keeps on echoing in my head even after like I close the games. Like the soundtrack is just memorable. Even I got the soundtrack expressed separately just to like hear it on repeat and repeat. And of course, The Witcher 3 isn't the perfect game as well. The inventory management is little annoying, and Roach acceleration has an initial idea where he stands, and the combat can feel repetitive during longer sections if you play like continuously without closing. And the opening hours, it's not the strongest aspect of the game, but once you find your rhythm to the games, it becomes like very difficult to put it down. I played like in the morning till 5-6 o'clock and didn't even sleep for 2 days entirely at the starting. And after like playing 96 hours, I finally understand the main story, and somehow I feel like I have barely scratched the surface of the game. There are quests that I missed, contexts that I never explained, and the places I never explored. And I have not even started the Heart and Stone and Blood and Wine DLC, which itself puts on like 24 hours of the gameplay. So, is Witcher 3 one of the greatest RPGs ever made? So basically for me, yes, absolutely. Not because it's perfect, but because very few games like make you care this much about the world, the characters and the choices you make. Now I finally understand why people have been recommending this game for me for a decade, and honestly, I wish I have played it sooner. If you have never played The Witcher 3, give it a chance. The opening hours might test your patience or so, but stick with it. It might actually end up becoming one of your favorite games too. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this review, consider subscribing because I also be planning the DLC soon and cannot wait to see if the both DLC live up to the hype. So see you next time.